Someone spoke. She dreamed she was back home. Not a nice dream, but still fading too fast. Jemima blinked sleep from her eyes. It took her a few moments to realise firstly that she was not in her beloved Bagley-on-Sea, secondly, with a swooping pain in her gut, that the house was no longer there anyway, and thirdly, that there was a head at the window. To confuse matters further, the voice she had heard had come not from the head, but from someone else outside. "Get away from there! Do you want to keep your job?" The head retreated. A second voice came, now muffled by the wall. "I wasn't going in." "I don't care. Do you think she wants to wake up and find you staring?" A grumble, a rustle, someone landing in flower bed beneath her window before moving away from earshot. Jemima rolled her head groggily on the pillow. Grandma's servants had probably been up for hours, but that was hardly an excuse for trimming ivy outside her window at this time of morning. Morning sunlight had made its way over her rumpled duvet and was climbing up the door opposite. Jemima couldn't tell what time it was. She must have worked her way under the covers at some point last night, but she hadn't bothered to get undressed. Her clothes stuck to her, and she appeared to be wearing headphones. She must have gone to sleep listening to her CD player. She pushed herself into a sitting position and tossed her headphones onto the bedside table. Stretching out her legs, she shook hair away from her face and looked up. The ceiling here was a lot further away than in her old room. Her suitcase was open, but still unpacked under the window, in shadow, dust motes dancing just above it. Dad hadn't checked on her last night. Something had probably happened with Mum. Jemima tipped herself out of bed, stumbled over to the window and looked out, half hoping the intruder would be there. He wasn't. Reaching into her case, she found a pale yellow dress that she didn't want to wear today, the t-shirt she did, and a spiny object twice the size of her fist. She picked this up in her free hand before flicking open the wardrobe opposite the foot of her bed with her toe and hooking the yellow dress onto a clanking coat hanger. She saw her reflection in a mirror on the inside of the wardrobe door and screwed up her face. Her light brown hair was dishevelled from the night's sleep, while a detached eyelash was stuck to her cheek. Her pale skin, her freckles, the fading imprint from her pillow. Jemima pulled at her hair, which was bunching in odd directions following its captivity to her headphones, and closed the wardrobe door on the dress, surprised at herself for actually putting something away. Still she resolved not to properly unpack. The spilling suitcase represented the hope, however forlorn, of not staying at Grandma's too long, despite what had happened to their house. Would someone rebuild it? Wasn't that what insurance was for? She pushed her head through the t-shirt and jumped at a whirring noise, followed by a cuckoo popping out silently from a clock on the wall by the wardrobe, before returning to his home. His sound must have been disabled. He bumped in and out a further 9 times. Jemima guessed that normally she would have missed breakfast, but Grandma had said she would be away this morning. "I'll grab something to eat now," she thought. Jemima scanned the room for anything else that might surprise her, but apart from the worn-out cuckoo and the door in the corner that looked like it might lead to a tower staircase, it was locked, she had checked on arrival. Only the painting on the other side of the wardrobe caught her attention. It showed a middle-aged couple from years gone by. The woman in a brown bonnet, the man with a silver-topped cane, standing in front of an ornate stone fountain. Jemima wondered if they were related to her, and remembered the picture gallery yesterday which, following its uncanny connection with her real house, she had no desire to revisit. The spiny shell, a conch given to her by Dad on her birthday a month ago, was still in her hand. "If you listen at its hole, you can hear the sea," he had told her. Knowing it was unwise to torment herself, the chances of going back were vanishing, Jemima raised it to her ear anyway. She heard Bagley-on-Sea's windy cove, a crash of roaring surf, the purr of ebbing tide at the waterline. Bitten, as expected, by a longing for home, she breathed out, set the conch on her bedside table, and moved to her suitcase once more to find her denim skirt.